we are seeing a little bit of a crypto dip across the market right now. Altcoins have obviously been on a very strong run, but we're starting to see the first signs of weakness. So I guess the number one question right now is, should you wait to buy? Should you start laddering into altcoins? What should be your strategy right now, considering we are getting a pullback? I've got Paradise, who's our expert trader from the Mars High Club, here to join me and help give us a technical lens of the market, looking through some of the buy zones for altcoins and also some scenarios on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you are excited for this show, we are here live, so we'll probably answer some comments at the end. Make sure to smash the like button, and I'll also be doing a show later today which focuses on my personal dip buy list. That'll be a video, but in the stream we're going to go through all the exact levels that you need to know. And because it's London Open or about to be London Open, at the moment, we are starting to get some pre-market volatility. So a lot of this is going to be, I think, very relevant over the coming hours leading into today and tomorrow. But Paradise, welcome back to the channel. I'll let you take it away here on Bitcoin.
Thanks, Miles. All right, we'll start with BTC. So for me right now, what was interesting overnight is we basically broke out of value, double value our high, closed back inside with this bearish engulfing candle. As soon as we did that, it wasn't much of a sell down, but alts, across the board pretty much hit double-digit percentage in the red, which was interesting. So I can't tell if people are getting skittish up here. We've been in this range for 2 weeks. Maybe people are trying to front run selling now to buy the dip on this consensus level if we get it. But the couple of scenarios I have right now is, one, we just remain bracketing between the belly area high and low. As you can see, like, you've been able to take quite nice rotational trades on that. The consensus level, the major consensus level, where, every man and his dog is looking right now. We've got CME gaps, volume inefficiencies, lows to sweep, all of this stuff is down here at the 115K level. That CME gap is still untouched. Also have all these lows starting to build up. So it would make for a nice level to sweep, but I just think so many people are watching it now, and BTC famously likes to mark up and leave a lot of lows untapped and freeze everybody out. So if we don't get down here, I'm sort of leaning more into the fact now that we might not actually flush down to this to give us all these like really premium alt buys. So I'm going to outline some scenarios for basically if this, then that. If we break up, if we remain bracketing, if we break down. Scenario 3 is basically if we get above this 120K resistance, which is where we rejected last night before coming down. So I think that happens there. We don't really have much resistance over here. I think we start consolidating except above this level. Then we'll see people chasing altcoins to get entries, and we'll start probably to see BTC attacking these highs into new all-time high. So a lot of stuff I'm going to explain today is based on the premise of those 3 things, either a dip or a level reclaim, or just basic sideways stuff, which equates to alts either selling off or picking up, depending. All right, so Ethereum, every man and his dog wants an entry in this too.
This is the big one, yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing lower lows start to form on stuff. So in terms of market structure, which is important, we haven't had that for a bit. Now, Ethereum is rejecting at this 4K level. Didn't quite get there, but this level is capped price for years now. Have the daily point of breakdown, the daily supply level up there. We rejected quite nicely off that. And all my strategy right now is revolving around the money noodle. So the indicator I have and key levels. We're going to go over all of this. So effectively, what you're looking for in this market, for me anyway, in trending markets, is always to look for 4-hour noodle retests. I think the 4-hour time frame is a really good time frame to stick to. It's mid time frame. If you have a full-time job, you only need to look at the chart twice a day to see when the candle closes are. But currently for me, I'm looking for, if the 4-hour noodle gets lost, we're looking for gap fill plays. So generally for me, when the 4-hour gets lost, I look for the 12-hour, and I look for the 12-hour to line up with certain points of interest or high time frame levels. If we don't have stuff like that, like if it's just no man's land, I generally use what's over here. This is Leviathan's key level suite indicator. Been using it for a long time, and it basically maps out things like weekly opens, monthly opens, previous month's high, low. You can also have VWAP and EMA and stuff in there. So that just sort of gives you dynamic levels, SR levels to go off if you don't have, if you have an absence of those on the chart. But for me right now, we're losing it underneath. Now, one scenario is we get back above this level. If we accept back above that level, this then becomes a deviation. So that's trigger 1. That's what you can look for on charts. If we start reclaiming levels without dipping down, you're buying slightly higher, but you now have a confirmation of strength, and you're buying in line with momentum, and now you have like an anchor point to put your stops under. So that's one thing I look for. And, this strategy is super simple because you just set an alert here for a reclaim of the level, and you set an alert down at your POIs lower if you get a dip. And you really don't diddle in the middle or do anything. You don't really do any business there until it hits either of those levels. So for me, looking at something like ETH, it's starting to lose the 4 hour. If it closes below right now, you can see these weeks before were good, but we might actually get a body close below. I will go to the 12 hour and I'll start marking out potential levels where we can pull back to. So right now we have a 4 hour demand pocket in here with the 12 hour noodle creeping up. But if we get a sharper dip like that flush to 115K in BTC, I dare say we come down and start filling stuff like this 12 hour noodle with the daily FEG at a very high time frame pivot level on the chart. Which, this is just a 3-day level I've marked out earlier. So there's a lot of interaction around this level. Also, if you're looking for these things and can't really decide where, inefficiencies are, like FEGs, or where demand levels are, you can just use high volume nodes. So it's the VRVP indicator, native to TradingView. You can basically identify where these high volume node peaks are on the chart. So generally what price does, it moves quite quickly through these low volume nodes, and it generally, finds support or resistance at these high volume nodes. So there's 2 ways you can play it. So for ETH right now, I'm going to look for a reaction down at the 4 hour demand here. And that would line up with the 12 hour noodle catching up. And if we move through that, I'm definitely looking for, the juicier entries down at the daily FEG at like 3,200. Now I'll just do a bit of education here and then we can get through the alt charts because the system is going to be the same for all of these charts. So we may as well cover it.
And that's what people want to know, right? Whether it's a bid alt or not. I'll also give my opinion after on where I think this market sits and what I'm doing.
Yeah, so days like this is like a pain point for many people. They don't know if it's a shallow dip, they should buy now. They don't know if they should wait till lower. You can always average into things, but we can sort of give you a schematic you can use by looking for breadcrumbs at levels. So let's just say you're waiting for this daily FEG down here. You're waiting for it to get filled, and price is currently testing this 4 hour level. Now, you don't know if that 4 hour level is going to hold, if it's going to come down here, if it's going to bounce there. You don't want to miss out. So what you can do when price gets to these levels, you can go down to lower timeframes and look for a bunch of things. So this is the 1 hour Ethereum chart. Let's get rid of these key levels for a sec. Obviously, we rejected this level. We are rejecting off the 1 hour noodle each time. You can see the 1 hour noodle is quite respected on the way up. Every time it's tagged, it's acted as support. So what I generally look for is if we get down to here, we come into this level, I want to see a few things. The first thing I want to see is divergences formed to that level. That can be in the hourly, the 30-minute, or the M15, completely up to you. Depends how aggressive you want to be with it. So what I like to see, we come to a level, we start to see like a bullish divergence on RSI or Awesome Oscillator print. That's sort of the first thing I look for. The second would be like a bullish market structure break. So maybe we come down here, we make a low, we make another low, and then we push up, effectively getting above this high here. This is a bullish break in market structure. We then look for some sort of pullback and retest into that level. That would generally line up with some sort of noodle retest. Now we get that, we can say, all right, I have to err on the side that this is probably the bottom because we're getting bullish market structure breaks as well as divergences as well as noodle reclaims down this level.
That'd be a level to strongly bid, I think, if we do get there, yeah. Yeah,
34.50, I think it's a decent level too. Because we just don't know how shallow the pullback's going to be. Could be deep, could be shallow, but do you want to be sidelined or do you want to start layering into things and laddering in? It's completely...
It would also probably align with this Bitcoin chart as well. Like you had it before, you probably draw it a little bit better than me, but it's basically this range here on the 4 hour. We're kind of chopping between this 115.8 zone and 120K. So if Bitcoin, and it kind of looks like balance of probabilities at once range low, although you said, it does look relatively strong. But if it did get down there to this level here, that's probably also going to correspond with that 3,400-ish level on Ethereum as well. And this isn't totally unreasonable to expect, given it's only 1.5% for Bitcoin. So there's confluence on both charts right now to just be anticipating a little bit lower on both Bitcoin and ETH, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And, that correlation is definitely there. If BTC comes down to that level and bounces, I dare say if price is at a POI, like if price is here on ETH and BTC starts to bounce while rating those swing lows that you just marked out, then you can generally say that's probably going to be the bottom on this too, just because of the correlation between two. Like everything's pretty much pegged to BTC's movement still. So if BTC starts, going low on that range low, you can pretty much write off this one and look for the juicy one lower. But the third thing you can also look for, apart from the divergences and market structure breaks, is just looking for low time frame noodle reclaims. So let's say price actually does come down here. Oops, price gets down here and you're down on like the 15-minute or something. I think actually the 30-minute was quite well respected. Yeah. Let's say price comes down here and does this, and the noodle starts coming down and flattening out. You don't even have to know and understand market structure to just say, all right, if price gets back above that low time frame trend, this is my first sort of point to bid, and then I can put my stop under whatever low was made there. So, that's kind of how I play things always. I don't just bid them blindly. I like to see some momentum shown, some strength shown. I like to see some divergences printed. If I get that sort of, congruence of stuff happening together, then I'm, more happy to say this is probably it, and I can at least have a punt at it. So with that knowledge in mind, we can flick through some charts I have marked out. This is basically strong mindshare coins, whether it's been what's been the strongest rally of the 110K breakout in BTC. You can track these things by having spaghetti chart. You can anchor it back to like when that breakout was on the 11th of July. You can use things like this to mark out, what's obviously been the strongest, PENGU, obviously being the outlier there.
Before we go through these charts, I want to touch quickly on just generally like my feelings in the market, and then we'll go through like the exact potential bid zones on these alts because each alt lines up differently. I had an interesting kind of thought last night, and it's basically that the fact people are scared of this dip, in my opinion, is proof that we're slightly earlier in the cycle than people think in terms of the alt cycle, not the overall cycle. Clearly, we're towards the end or in the final phase of the Bitcoin cycle or the Ethereum cycle. But in terms of altcoins, I think this, altcoin season, so to speak, probably has more juice in it, considering usually when we're in this euphoric period, people are absolutely dying to scoop up dips. Like I remember in 2021, every time there was the smallest dip, this is actually quite a big dip compared to some of the altcoin dips in 2021, people would be aping in. People weren't scared at all. But already on this very small pullback, there's already all this fear like, oh, is it over? Was that the altcoin season? Is that it? It's all, pack it up and go home. Like I'm seeing these takes on X, and I'm seeing skepticism across the YouTube community and pretty much all communities because people don't really believe yet. So I thought we were maybe closer to like thrill of the cycle, but just the reaction to this dip makes me think maybe we're slightly a bit lower. Maybe optimism heading into belief as opposed to this period here. Because when we're in this period here, you'll know it. People will be desperate to scoop up by any means necessary altcoin. So I actually think we're relatively early in the scheme of altcoin season, not the overall cycle, but at least this final period in the phase because of the current reaction we're seeing. I still don't think people fully believe yet. And because that's the case, I still think, given the fact we are in a macro uptrend, dips are generally for buying, and we'll go through some of the individual altcoin setups now. I also like this tweet from Follis. He said, Bitcoin's only 3.5% down from all-time highs. Maybe chill out a minute before knife-catching vaporware that will leg down aggressively the next time the market sneezes. And I think I do agree with this in the sense that right now, the only things you should be focusing on buying on dips are the quality coins with strong narratives. We'll discuss some now, and I'll do my dip buy show later in the day, which are the best coins that are going to bounce the most, because a lot of people are going to, maybe make the wrong decisions and get into the wrong coins now on this dip. But ideally, you want to be getting into the coins that have shown propensity to bounce the strongest. And we'll go through some now because those are going to give you the best risk reward adjusted entries to actually maximize this next period in the altcoin market. So I still think you don't need to ape in all at once. Personally, I'm DCAing a little bit today into coins that look good that I feel like I've missed just in case ETH, doesn't actually go lower. But I'm also reserving a pretty significant amount of capital for the possibility that ETH actually does go lower and sweep the levels we discussed. And if I happen to be wrong, I've got my longer term spot portfolio to hedge against that. And then I'm also happy on the reclaim of Ethereum strength to look at long continuation setups on alts on individual reclaims. So that's the summary of my opinion on where the market sits right now. But Paradise, take it away with some of the more technical view on some of these altcoins.
Yeah, it's a good tweet from Follis. Like you'll see, my list today is mostly large cap stuff that has mindshare. Like you can bid dips on that because the demand is there. People want it. So I'll say like high market cap. So, your pukes aren't obviously so bad when the market sells off. Like you said about vaporware, I generally, if it's for me, I'd bid that stuff on momentum. So let's just say we have like a key level. Let's say something nukes through it. Maybe I won't buy it down here, but I'll buy it when it gets back above. So it actually shows some strength. So you're buying on the right side of V. It's the thing I talk about, that concept quite a bit. If you're trying to knife catch some of these really low cap things, they can, fall much faster than much farther than you think they can in a record time. But also what you said before, I really don't think this is much of a dip yet either, because, when BTC is really rallying, you get open interest at record highs, and then you get those whipsaws down, and BTC does a 10 to 15% flush. BTC
That's
overnight.
euphoria of the market. That you'll know
Yeah.
when the real euphoria is here, when those are the types of move. This to me, and I actually called this on Sunday in my overall stream when I gave you guys my update on strategy, and also in Discord when I said, and Telegram when I said I was de-risking on Sunday night. I said, look, the market's run up a lot. I've made some nice gains. I'm going to take some off the table, and I'm anticipating that Ethereum and Bitcoin consolidate for a little bit here to cool down. So this dip or this consolidation, whatever you want to call it, probably shouldn't be new to you. This is something that we kind of expected heading into this week, considering how aggressively we ran up.
Yeah, 100%. And that was not a flush last night. That was not open interest wipe or anything like that from over leveraged apes. You'll know when they come. They're in the really, really strong uptrends. We just haven't got it. Last night we saw these double-digit percentage wipes across altcoins, and BTC was down. I think I checked at the same time. It was 1 p.m. today. Yeah, BTC was down 1.44% off where it rejected off the resistance. So this is nothing. I even think from this morning's move down to the 115 level, it's only a 3% dip. So yeah, it could be much worse. Like you said, I just don't think this is much of a dip yet, but we'll see. But let's get on to some alts quickly. So we're just going to go over the same strategy that I marked out for Ethereum. So right now, PENGU, potentially a good level to buy. We're at the 4-hour demand level. We're also at the 4-hour Noodle. Obviously, 4-hour Noodle retests have been the GOAT the whole way up. Once again, it's my favorite time frame to trade with the Noodle. I just think every time you get a consolidation around it and you get a nice stochastic reset, it's generally a really easy trigger to take a punt. And all I'd be looking for on this, I'm not going to go over it on stream for all of these, but just be going down to low time frame, and I want to start to see those breadcrumbs of bidding coming in. And obviously you can use order flow as well, which is an optional thing. It's a bit more difficult, but it gives you a bit more of an inside lens into what's happening. No divergences on the 15-minute happening yet, so therefore this wouldn't be a bid for me. We're not down to the 15-minute Noodle. So some people will just set limits there and sort of hope and pray. I generally like confirmation. So if we start to see these divergences, price does another leg down, maybe RSI starts doing that, and then we start to reclaim the 15-minute Noodle. There's 3 points of confluence there. We rated a high time frame point of interest. We formed divergence and we reclaimed the Noodle. That can be your trigger. And that Noodle also lines up with breaking market structure, right? So effectively 4 points there.
I'm also nibbling a little bit of spot, not taking the leverage trade yet, but nibbling a bit of spot on PENGU today because it's one that I missed. So dips can be opportunities to rebalance your portfolio and also get into coins that you missed or weren't exposed enough to. Of course, it could go a bit lower, but I think mindshare wise, it's pretty strong. So if there is a recovery, it'll bounce quite quick. So yeah, not full size yet, but nibbling at this level because I think it's the first logical bid zone.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. In the market, when you have really strong mindshare coins that everyone wants, this is probably the dip you get. Whereas if you're bidding some really low cap on-chain thing, it could go much, much lower. So you just kind of got to play it contextually. Not everything's going to dip the same amount, obviously, but if things are really strong and people want them, you can expect the dips to be much shallower. The reason I like this setup so much with PENGU is because we effectively front ran this high over here and we left equal highs, and we're now coming back to test a key POI at a high time frame. A key POI at the 4-hour Noodle. If we dip a bit lower, we might have the previous week high retest. You can see on this here. So, many good things there to look for. And if we do get the flush lower in 115K.
What's that indicator called again? I just want to personally add it to my trading view. It's very cool.
It's so good, man. It's key level suite. Key level suite.
Level suite by, I'm just writing in my notes.
Leviathan.
Leviathan. I'll add that one. Nice one.
He's pretty much the best coder in TradingView because if you go to any paid group, because his source code's all there, majority of people are just rehashing his source code and rebranding it as their own. I've noticed time and time again. But yeah, he's got so much good stuff. I use most of his things. He's got all open interest and volume suite stuff, and yeah, really good.
Very
but
cool. Nice.
So yeah, always two scenarios. I always have two scenarios, and in this case it's three. So the first one is a level reclaim on a lower time frame. If we dip here, maybe you missed this dip. This was where we basically lost a key level. Whoops. I'm just looking for us to get back above that. That can be your structural reclaim. So let's just say we front run this level. That would be one. 2 is we come into this level and we show those breadcrumbs of reversal. So that can be your second scenario. And 3 is if we get that dip on BTC where it goes lower. So, you can basically see if you're getting the reversal at that level before you ape in. And if you're not, you might wait for lower or you wait for confirmation higher. And that should keep you out of, a lot of people don't like being underwater. They start to second guess whether they made the wrong decision or not, and then start to give up the good entries they had. So with this framework, you can effectively get the confirmation you're looking for. And maybe even if you have to buy a bit higher, you're just chasing momentum, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So you expect price to pick up from there.
By the way, if people want the exact live setups, because obviously when you enter PENGU, when we can't just live stream every single time there's a single trade, the Discord is the place to be. As you can see, this is one of Paradise's chart analysis channels, and he posts all of his trades live and gives you multiple updates throughout the life cycle of the trade. So from opening the trade to updating and then at the end of the trade. So definitely come and be a part of the Mars High Club if you aren't already, if you're interested in leveling up your trading game. It's not just Paradise, it's obviously also my earliest alpha, as well as amazing analysis from our other 4 analysts as well. But yeah, specifically for you, I think it's very helpful for people to be in there and be able to track your trades like live and new setups and all this sort of stuff. What I also find very cool is you actually have a questions channel. So people can ask you questions, and you're very, very good. In fact, you're too nice. You pretty much go through and handhold people and answer every question, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and this means that people, yeah, you basically live in there, which is great, because if someone wants to get an entry on any of the coins we speak today and they're a bit unsure about how to, implement your strategy, they can ask you and you can actually help them develop their own strategy. I do this as well for my fundamental stuff, but I think that's an amazing feature that not many other groups have. A lot of other groups are just signals, which doesn't really teach you to fish. We are kind of both. We give the trade ideas and the setup, but we also educate like how to actually nail that on your own going forward, which I think is a great combo that I don't see many other Discords doing. So yeah,
it's good too, because I've got everything I'm teaching you right now. I have hours and hours and hours, maybe like 30 hours of educational material recorded already. And that's, I'm giving you the bare bones framework today, but it gets a lot more nuanced. So if you want to learn any of that, there's a lot to learn in there. And we've just launched a trading school too on WAP. So myself, Doc, and Myron recording lots of beginner to advanced lessons on that.
Amazing.
All right. So next
nice.
up,
Let's rapid fire through the rest. We're going to try and keep this under 30.
Bonk, key weekly pivot down here. Daily Noodle down at 0.0026. I don't think we get there. This has been too strong. If we do, that's like the big flush scenario.
This is one that I would buy because I think Bonk is good and useless as a beta. I'll speak about it in my show later today.
Yeah, I'd bid the hell out of that level. That'd be great. For now, I think we're fighting with the 4-hour Noodle. If we lose it, I'm looking at this FEG down here, the daily FEG. It's also where the 12-hour Noodle is. Admittedly, we tagged it and had a very strong reaction. You can see the power of this thing once we actually get a tag on the high time frame. Look at that wick up. But that may have been the bottom. We swept some lows. If we do come lower, I'm looking at this level down here. But, it's just this thing I was teaching you guys. You lose the 4-hour, you go to the 12-hour. You look for the gap fill between the noodles. On to Doge, something I bought some of this morning myself. Quite simply, at a key high time frame level. I'll get rid of that. Key high time frame level is where we basically broke out from. We have a daily breaker, a 3-day breaker there. We have a daily FEG there. A lot of points of confluence. We also had, the Dino coin rally the other day and the Genius Act stuff. So this performed really well. I think this is a very nice retest, and I'm just looking for. I picked up spot in it, maybe pick up perps too. Just need to see how price develops throughout the day. But even if we trade a bit lower, like the daily noodles there, I'd expect that to hold. So that'll be the first retest since breaking out. Altcoin, we obviously this high time frame range high over here. I ignore this first bit. We wicked into it again, obviously finding resistance there at 1.61. We go down to the lower time frames. We basically did sort of a head and shoulders pattern, bit of an ugly one, but basically this was resistance. We flipped it. We didn't really trade support. We got back under. We gave it a bearish retest. Also lined up with a bearish noodle retest. With the noodle, I never advocate using it in isolation. You always want to use it with key levels or POIs. And then also, if we move this, we can see we're rejected off the previous month's high at the same time. So that right now says the 4-hour trend's been lost. I'm now looking for the 12-hour trend to step up. Sorry, was it daily trend? 12-hour daily, basically in the same bracket, but we have this untapped daily demand down here. So if we get down there, I think this is a very nice bid level. And we saw a lot of buying there. That's where I picked up some spot earlier. So I'd probably look to add more to that down there with a target of $2 around psychological number. I think that's a fairly easy one. Hype I've included because it's been strong on the run up since we broke out. Like, this has been a phenomenal run, but I think hasn't been looking that good lately. Obviously,
losing
we
some
lost
momentum. And the FTV
massively.
is really high. Like, in terms of DeFi, I'm actually prepping a list later today. I was just doing it in the gym in my notes this morning. And I think in terms of DeFi, my picks would be Fluid on a pullback. Black, I'll speak about both of these later. That's Elio's project. In my opinion, they're better DeFi players than Hype right now. I still hold Hype. I still like Hype. I just think it's very highly valued and the momentum's stalling a little bit. So I would probably buy that 30 odd zone, though, if it did really flush down there.
Yeah, it's one you and I have discussed a bunch of times, that huge volume inefficiency. Like, honestly, that's where I'll load up down there at like $30, 29, this gap down here.
And it could 2x from that level, still, 2 to 3x. But it's not gonna be a huge exploder this cycle, but it's more of a multi-cycle thing, I think, that will always be around. But in a bear market, this thing would still get hit like anything else. But I think it has the potential to survive multi-cycle, unlike other alts.
Yeah. And please, everyone, don't underestimate psychological round numbers. I fully TP'd my whole position at $49.50, just front running the $50 level, and you can see it's just been dead since then. But we are coming to a daily FEG, daily Noodle. Daily Noodle's been really respected on the way up. Also getting the stochastic reset there, also getting an RSI 50 reset. So I think this is actually quite a nice level for Hype. If this doesn't hold, I expect it to trade probably, maybe down to this 3-day demand or even lower. But we'd look for a bounce here and just look for those breadcrumbs I talked about earlier. Coming about 26 minutes. I think 30 is hurrying us up. ENA I'll do quickly. I think ENA looks very nice just because of how strong it's been. It's got a narrative. Now, this is a weekly level. It was resistance for a long time. We broke above it with force. We're actually getting the good grace of getting a retest, which is quite rare. And this is an H12 FEG. It's also a daily FEG. Getting a retest of that now with the 12-hour Noodle coming up into it. I think this actually makes for a great place to pick up some ENA. Just want to see a stochastic reset a bit more down here. Yep. CV don't really need to go over. XRP, another one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't like the way it puked into this level. This is a weekly level, like a weekly SR flip. So this is a nice level for it, but I hate this immediate bearish engulfing. Usually you want to see a rounded retest. So for something like this, I'd look for a bounce, look for the breadcrumbs, low time frame trend reclaims, stuff like that, divergences. But I wouldn't bid it just blindly right now. And I'm just going to do SUI quickly, just because of how nice it's been on the run up. Currently testing the daily Noodle.
This would be a good one for the rest of the
100%.
cycle.
It had that sweep of a key high and then it sold off, which is what you want, what you expect. That's a healthy market. Now it's coming to the daily demand and the daily Noodle. Also getting the stochastic almost in the reset zone. It's not a deal breaker, but definitely somewhere I look for consolidation down here and look for it to pick up. And lastly, we'll do SPX just because it's the crowd favorite right now. Breakout above this all-time high level. Yeah, I think so. All-time high level. It's coming down to retest it. We've got the daily demand there. We've got the daily Noodle. A bit more time to reset. But once again, not a deal breaker. Definitely something to keep on the watch list and something I'll look to pick up more spot on if we retrace a bit deeper. And that is it.
I think to summarize on our overall thoughts on the market, for good strong alts that have relative strength, I think you can start laddering in a little bit, like especially some of the top setups, but definitely give yourself some wiggle room in case ETH continues to come down to that key zone we highlighted, because that would be your ultimate entry zone. So the way I'd summarize it is right now is a solid entry zone for some alts, but there could be some amazing buys if you're just a little bit more patient. I am DCing a little bit into some stuff just to hedge against, in case we just completely reverse, because that can happen in crypto sometimes. You have to also keep that in mind. I also have a very good offer for you guys. We're going to be starting a team, Paradise and I, and probably some of the other Discord guys in the Bitget Kings Cup. So this is going to be, once my team's approved, I'm going to send you give you guys the details in a future show. But to prepare, you need to sign up with an account, and you can do so using the link in the description. We have a new offer, which is for a $20 USDT airdrop. So if you want to sign up for a new Bitget account, you'll get a $20 USD airdrop if you just fund your account with $100 and get $10 of trading volume. So it's like $1 on 10x or $10 spot buy will qualify you. So that's pretty much negligible. The main thing's just depositing $100, and then you'll unlock a $20 airdrop. But nonetheless, if you already have an account, make sure you get things set up, deposit some money in there for the trading competition, because there's going to be $6 million in prizes, which means our team, the Mars High Club team, could actually make a lot of money if we win. And I'll be trying my luck at some of the trading and alongside some of the other members. So it's going to be very, very fun. Get your accounts ready. Link in the description below, and I'll also leave a link to the Mars High Club if you guys want regular updates from myself, from Paradise, and everyone over this next week or so. We're slightly over 30 now, but that's okay. I'll see you guys in the show later today. Paradise, great job today. I think some of these setups are really good. I'm going to actually update my charts now.
Yep, I need a glass of water. That was a lot to say. But thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Well done. All right, see you guys next time. Peace.